Hello, everyone. Today I will be doing a reading and analysis of the God is Dead passage from Friedrich Nietzsche's The Gay Science. Um, so let's get started right away. The Madman. Have you not heard of that madman who lit a lantern in the bright morning hours, ran to the marketplace, and cried incessantly, I seek God, I seek God. As many of those who did not believe in God were standing around just then, he provoked much laughter. Has he got lost? Asked one. Did he lose his way like a child? Asked another. Or is he hiding? Is he afraid of us? Has he gone on a voyage, emigrated? Thus they yelled and laughed. The madman jumped into their midst and pierced them with his eyes. Whither is God? He cried. I will tell you. We have killed him, you and I. All of us are his murderers. But how did we do this? How could we drink up the sea? Who gave us the sponge to wipe away the entire horizon? What were we doing when we unchained this earth from its sun? Whither is it moving now? Whither are we moving? Away from all suns? Are we not plunging continually, backward, sideward, forward in all directions? Is there still any up or down? Are we not straying as though in infinite nothing? Do we not feel the breath of empty space? Has it not become colder? Is not night continually closing in on us? Do we not need to light lanterns in the morning? Do we hear nothing as yet of the noise of gravediggers who are burying God? Do we smell nothing as yet of the divine decomposition? Gods too decompose. God is dead. God remains dead, and we have killed him. How shall we comfort ourselves, the murderer of all murderers? What was holiest and mightiest of all that the world has yet owned has bled to death under our knives. Who will wipe this blood off of us? What water is there for us to clean ourselves? What festivals of atonement, what sacred games shall we have to invent? Is not the greatness of this deed too great for us? Must we ourselves not become gods simply to appear worthy of it? There has never been a greater deed, and whoever is born after us, for the sake of this deed, he will belong to a higher history than all history hitherto. Here the madman fell silent and looked again at his listeners, and they too were silent and stared at him in astonishment. At last he threw his lantern on the ground, and it broke into pieces and went out. I have come too early, he said then. My time is not yet. This tremendous event is still on its way, still wandering. It has not yet reached the ears of men. Lightning and thunder require time. The light of the stars requires time. Deeds, though done, still require time to be seen and heard. This deed is still more distant from them than the most distant stars, and yet they have done it themselves. It has been related further that on that day the madman forced his way into several churches, and there struck up his Requiem aeternam Deo. Led out and called to account, he is said to have always replied nothing, but what after all are these churches now, if they are not the tombs and sepulchres of God? So I think this is, if not the best passage from Nietzsche, is definitely one of his most popular ones. And it is also one that is always completely blown out of proportion. Many contemporary and modern atheists often quote him in backing up their assertion that God is dead. And it's true Nietzsche would have agreed with that, but it is not true that he would have approved of this constant dancing around and this this, I don't even know how you would describe it. It is this constant need to have to expose and rid society of religion and Nietzsche did not approve of this idea. Instead, he approved of a natural decrease in the need of a religion, and so he did not approve of this meandering and this. Anyway, so that being said, let's cover what this quote is talking about. So, unpacking it, we can see that Nietzsche asserts that God is dead, and that it is true that it is a great deed, according to Nietzsche. It is a deed that we shall not take lightly. And what he means by that is that this is, if it's true that the death of God has occurred, do we not know what that means for society, for a society to develop and to base the foundations of knowledge on this divine entity? How will destroying the foundations of such a great nation, how could we preserve the potential impact and even destruction of such an occurrence? And so this was Nietzsche's question. How? And he did not think that people were ready for this, obviously, because he said even stars need time for their light to reach. And so do these deeds, even though it was done by us. And that is, I think, it is just an incredible passage by him. It really just shows his utter brilliance. And anyway, so this idea, it is not to be taken lightly. What happens if God is dead? And what are the consequences? What are the repercussions? What happens now? What if we don't? Because if all of our morals, our ideas, our progressions, if all of it is based off of Christianity or religion or any kind of theism, then if we destroy those foundations, what do we have to rest everything that we have now on? Is there anything that we could even rest everything that we have now on? Is there something that is the equivalent of religion that we can build our foundations upon? These are the questions that we must ask ourselves, that Nietzsche would ask everyone. And these were also questions that he simultaneously felt that we could not answer, and that we could not give a equivalent foundation for religion. And so this was his idea in the Gay Science, in the Madman passage. So it is, he says, whither are we moving? Are we moving forward, backward, sidewards? And I think that what happened when we unchained this earth from its sun, and that is a moving question, and it's a good question. So it is, to understate it, it is food for thought. But anyway, definitely a very interesting quote to pick apart, and again, another one that is always completely blown out of proportion, and a quote that people don't often realize. And yeah, so anyway, if you guys enjoyed this kind of reading and mini analysis, please consider liking and subscribing, and then you can check out my website at mikepierce.com for essays and other works of literature that I do. So anyway, yeah, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to do all that, and I will see you next time.